Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 3D Printed Gamer. And today my focus is going to be on things to use with Blood and Plunder, which is a game I'm really hoping to play a lot more of in the near future. And with that in mind, I went looking around for things that I might be able to use for that game. But before I do that, I just thought I'd take a quick look at Kickstarter and see what's going on. And unfortunately, I've found one 3D printing gaming related project going on right now. And this is the Warlayer 3D printable terrain. Warlayer is a brand new collection of the best 3D printable sci-fi wargaming terrain. Well, I don't know about that. But it is some kind of cool industrial terrain with a lot of focus on being able to make things tall. So multi-level, very Necromunda-ish. But, you know, it's okay. It's not great. I like the idea of this, and I like the ability to do the multi-layers. I think in addition to 40K style terrain, this might also work well with that Mantic Necromunda hybrid kind of game. Sort of similar style game that I forget the name of because I played it once and haven't played it since. But, you know, these look okay. You can tell I'm super enthusiastic about this. Yeah, they're all right. It's not expensive. For $5 you can get the forward radio station. I'm not sure which one that is. For $10 you get the orbital strike station, and for $20 you get kind of everything. So that's cool. Oh, there's the radio station, which is really, you know, a handful of pieces. Looks like that. Meh. For $5, what the hell? Orbital strike station for 10. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. As far as the pieces go, I think this may be my favorite of the bunch. And then the full war layer, you end up with the stackable towers and stuff too. They stack just like this. So not great. I was hoping for something more like the printablescenery.com Kickstarters. But speaking of printablescenery.com, I am wrong. There is one other Kickstarter worth talking about, and that is Time Warp, Rampage Castle, Europe and the Americas. And this touches just ever so lightly on the actual focus for today's topic, and I'll get to that. But what do we have? For New Zealand dollars, you got $60 for Rampage Castle. This is Rampage Castle right here. And you can see it's just a lot of castle-y pieces that you can put together in a lot of different ways. And then, and what do they say? Oh, that's 60 New Zealand dollars or 45 US dollars. Also for 45 US dollars, you've got the Time Warp Europe Medieval Church, which is pretty cool. I don't like their paint job on this. I don't think it's doing it any favors. It looks like it was spray painted red primer and then kind of washed a little bit. But the design is cool. Like if you look at it here, it's pretty nice. I could see finding uses for that. Even outside of medieval Europe, this would be good for, you know, fantasy as well. And for the Americas, we're doing a whole Old West theme, which I really like. And the only weird thing about the idea of 3D printing Old West buildings is these are always, when I look at these, I always think that these are the things that I feel like I could just do with traditional materials. You know, I could get out the balsa wood and the foam core and knock out something that's pretty decent in a short period of time. Not that I ever have, mind you. But But I feel like I could, if it ever came down to it, like your life or death situation, need to build some Old West terrain, I think I could handle myself pretty well. But they do have this set of, I forget what they call them, like Caribbean walkways or something like that. That's what this is. And so there's some potential uses for stuff like that in a pirate-themed game. And then in their stretch goals, one of the things I noticed is right here they have the Caribbean Shack designed to work with Caribbean walkways. Well, that makes sense. It seems weird that you would have the walkways with nothing else going with it until you unlocked it. But in any case, that seems like, from what I can tell in looking at this tiny picture, that that might be pretty cool. And the rest of it looks really good too. I mean, I really like the stuff that 3D printable scenery does. So I think, in general, this is worth looking at. I mean, if any of this is on your list of cool things that you might want. But since we were talking about 3D printable scenery, they actually have one building at printablescenery.com. There we go. They have one piece in under their historic collection that fits in the pirate theme, and that is the Caribbean House. And I have purchased this, but I have not yet printed it. It's only $10, which is a good deal, and it has... Oh, huh. We're not going to switch pictures. There we go. It has a couple of layers. Call it layers. A couple of levels. And it comes in these pieces here, so you get 9 files to work on. 3 for the roof, and then 6 for the various floors. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So really what you have is, if you have a large print bed, you can do each of the floors and the roof as a single piece. So that'd be 3 pieces for that. If you have a smaller print bed, then they break all of that stuff in half. So it kind of accommodates whatever you have, which is very nice. So outside of the stuff that you have to buy, I went looking on Thingiverse for some stuff that might be fun and useful. And I did find this pirate ship. Let's look at the... Let's go into see if we can do Thing View. Your graphics card does not seem to support WebGL. Well, there you go. That's what you get for having a crappy video card. Let's just go back to the pictures and then switch back. This is kind of neat. It's not particularly useful necessarily for the game, but I just thought it was interesting that somebody had a kind of piratey pirate ship. It's not a historical pirate ship. It's, you know, somebody's version of a pirate ship, but it is not unlike the stuff that you can buy for Blood and Plunder. And probably won't do anything with this one. I just thought it was worth pointing out that it existed. This, on the other hand, looked kind of fun. It's a pirate shipwreck dice tower. It's a little goofy. Let's be honest. It's a little goofy. On the other hand, it's fun. And I might at some point get around to doing it, because it would be fun to have a little crashed pirate ship dice tower to use in the games. The pirate coins. I got 2 different things here. I got some just basic skull and crossbones, and it is set up for either doing dual extrusion or not dual extrusion, single extrusion, like most of us have. But these might be really good for counters if you need them. And of course, I discovered that you could get the coin from Pirates of the Caribbean. So again, another potential marker should you need it. But this was really, I felt like, the big find. Well, that wasn't helpful. This is Delving Decor loot markers from Dutch Mogul. And if you've ever searched around for terrain or miniatures related stuff on Thingiverse, you've probably run across Dutch Mogul, because he is crazy. This guy seems to constantly be making new things and putting it up on Thingiverse, specifically for gaming. And I believe a lot of the stuff is for a game of his own design, but most of them are usable in a variety of games, not just whatever his game is. So what's nice about this is that it comes with, your treasure chest, some crates, some barrels, and bags, as well as coins. And then it comes in these groupings, which normally I'm not a fan of groupings. I like to I'll print out like a bunch of barrels, a bunch of crates, and then decide how I want to put them together. But with these, I kind of liked the way the groupings went together. And actually, they print really well. And since I've mentioned that I've printed them, let's have a look. And here we go. These are the ones that I've printed so far. And like I said, these little clusters, they print really nice. And they look really natural. Like they've recently been unloaded. And the thing about Blood and Plunder is that it wants to have a lot of scattered terrain. If you are completely in the open, your guys will get really just hammered by the opposing forces. So the idea is that anything that sort of gets between your opponent and your units as they're being fired at provides you with a bonus to your defense. Whereas if there's no cover, you're screwed. So you want to have a fair amount of this stuff out there, and the ability to just print out a ton of these and go is pretty cool. And here is a couple of just the little bags, which I think look really nice. Surprisingly so. And this could be like an objective piece. It's like supposed to be a mound of treasure, kind of Pirates of the Caribbean style, with a treasure chest and bags. And then here is one set that I've already painted. These were all done in PLA, and as you can see, they look really nice. This one was printed with ABS, and I was surprised that I didn't really see any particular difference. I actually thought that the PLA would provide just a little bit more detail, and in looking at the difference between the two, you know what? I actually do think the PLA has slightly more detail than the ABS. Very slightly. But I really like how these turned out. I painted these really fast. The boxes are raw umber or raw sienna. Raw sienna with a coat of Seraphim Sepia shade over the top of that. And then the barrels are, I think they're warm gray too. Just essentially a really light tan washed with, and I think I just use Agrax Earthshade on those. And then of course gray and black for the bands. and took no time at all really to paint these. Just base coated with an airbrush and laid down the shade with a brush, and just called it done, because they don't need to be perfect. They're just going to be scattered terrain. So it's nice to see that this is going to work out really, really well. And I just need to print, like, I don't know, 10, 15 more of these so that they can get set up wherever I need them. And just by the way, this was my first test paint for one of the Blood and Plunder minis. I can't remember which squad he comes out of, but he came out okay. I like how he turned out, and I think the rest will be equally cool. But in any case, I think that's going to do it for this episode. If you have any questions about this or any other sort of 3D printing topic, I am no expert whatsoever. I know about the things that I've done and the things that I've tried, and I know about my 3D printer. So if you have questions about that, feel free to ask. Anything else, we can all certainly help each other to figure things out. I've actually really been enjoying doing the 3D printing videos, just because this is kind of a new thing for me. And I know that a lot of people out there are certainly trying to, if you have a 3D printer, you're trying to find ways to incorporate it into your hobby. And that's really what this is all about. So I will definitely see you on the next one. I'm going to provide links to all of the things that I've shown you here in the description. Or if you're on Patreon, it'll just be in the posting there. So just look for them, and they will be around for you to find. And that's going to do it for now. And thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.